Hey there, this is Eric, and welcome to the Public Speaking Mastery Meetup group here in North Park. I wanted to say thanks a lot for participating. It was really exciting to me to be able to create the meetup group. I haven't created one before, and you'll learn more background, but I created it to help us all and as a means of accountability, because quite personally and frankly, it helps me to be able to put something out there on the calendar and say, wow, others want to participate in this and we can do this together. And I think it's great. So I had some questions. One of the questions I had from posting in the group was, how will this help me? How will this getting together and reading out loud actually help me with public speaking? And I wanted to shoot you just a quick video about how it's going to help. I came across this reading or listening to an Audible book recently, and it's a concept that I hadn't heard before. I've been involved, I'm a Toastmaster from previous states that I lived in, and that's been a great program. I've gone through Dale Carnegie training and done Train the Trainer for Dale Carnegie. Again, a great program. And a lot of times they'll mention, hey, if you're going to prepare for a speech, you should record yourself, and that way you can see, how do I hold my hands? How do I sound? What do my facial expressions look like, considering that only about 7% of our communication is actually the words? So not a lot of people really do that, but no one ever really said to me, you should read aloud 30 minutes, 3 times a week in order to improve your communication and presentation skills. So when I heard that, I got to thinking about it, and I wanted to implement it. But quite frankly, I wasn't accountable enough to myself, so I had the idea, let's put this into a meetup group, and that's where it was born. So here's how it's going to help. Know thyself, a great old Greek, or depending how you look at it, Egyptian axiom, know thyself. So you can't connect and communicate with others until you know how you communicate and how you're actually connecting with yourself. And being able to read somebody else's material without the pressure of having to put on a presentation and or be an expert in that material is going to help you just be a better communicator by reading other material that's already proven to be good. So that's why we say bring something that is of substance, has maybe some challenge to it, or at least is very helpful. So know thyself. And then I got to thinking about Dr. Richard Allen Miller from a couple years ago. I was listening to and reading some of his things, and he trained the Navy SEALs and taught them how to be super soldiers. And one of the things that was very helpful was when they were in just horrifying conditions and things going on around them, they had to speak out loud and talk to themselves through it. Because what was happening at that point is they were able to overcome this challenge, because now this is going to get into another little axiom here, is call things which be not as though they were. So some people might call that faith, and they might actually assign a scripture to that. You can if you want. And in this case, what I'm saying is, by saying it out loud and making the auditory thing happen, they had to think it, then they had to say it, then they had to hear it, and then they started to believe things, even things that weren't as they were, to help them get through very challenging situations in training. So what's more challenging than speaking in public, right? People are terrified of it, and that's what this is going to do. So it's going to rapidly advance us to, not only are we going to be reading by ourselves during the week, which is what I'm going to suggest and we'll talk more about, but that we're now reading out loud in front of a group. There's no pressure because it's not our own speech, but yet we're going to get to hear ourselves. It's going to reinforce that, which, by the way, is why when you're doing affirmations, it works too. So you can't get into any kind of a self-improvement or personal development program without somebody bringing up affirmations. And you can say them in your head, because at first you don't maybe believe some of them, but they become more powerful when you're actually speaking them out loud. And that's why, because you're reinforcing through that process of writing them, then thinking them, and then actually speaking them and hearing them. So you keep getting it through multiple rounds of your senses, and that's how this is going to help. So reading aloud is going to help all of us improve our communication and presentation skills. I promise you it's going to be fun, and it won't be all that we do, because I'm really excited now that I've put this out there. I know that there's some other people locally here that want to connect. I'm relatively new to the area. Me and my wife are looking forward to meeting you. If you've got any questions, my number will be all over the meetup and below. You can text me or communicate with me on the meetup group. Look forward to seeing you in North Park at the Bird Park. And this is Eric right now signing off. See you soon.